There's many different purposes of lines, and one of them is to indicate the shape of objects that you see. So that would be like outlining. And I'm just doing the basic of the outline in pencil, and then I'm going to draw the rest of it just by looking at the reference side by side with my paper. So I'm not drawing everything that's on this screen here. So I believe this is all greenery in the background, and then it turns into smoke. There's lines to indicate the ripples of the water, but I'll get more into that later. So right now we're just doing some guidelines for the line, like the structure of the line work. Now you can, if you want to, trace, like roughly trace. It doesn't have to be exact. The lines, this individual lines in here. Like you can still learn, you just got to keep your thought process on, think about what you're doing and why you are doing it. You want to make sure you have a good marker, or not a marker, but a good pen, and that it's not going to dry out on you. The bridge is mostly about texture and the idea of a structure of the bricks that were put together, like how they were placed. And you want to do nice long strokes. If you do strokes like this, it looks very choppy. You want to just do nice long, and you can do more than one if you're trying to create the right shape. So the longer the stroke, it's about the wrist, not the fingers. And if you need to, you can turn the paper to get a better line. I'm going to keep it so I can move that, move the DaVinci Eye app to just check my work as I go along. Another thing that I learned is that you can do straighter lines if you do them quicker. You like not too quick. There's a sweet zone. Like if you do it too fast, it kind of goes. It gets it's not straight. Just keep practicing. The more you do it, the better you get. It's a very long process. Now I've got the basic structure down. I'm going to start working on the shading. Now, so there's many different reasons and how we use cross hatching. One is for texture, so like the bricks. Another one is for the structure or the form. It would be straight across for flat, like straight lines for flat surfaces, or tapered in, depending, like for something like this where it's has a vanishing point to it. If it's rounded, then you'll do like rounded curves to indicate, like down here, indicate that that is a rounded surface, like a pipe or something. And then we also have shape. So there's shapes of people that are on the bridge. And then they also just did the shape of clothing on the clothing line up here. And then they also do it for shadowing, cross-hatching, which is in 2 different directions. Anyways, I think I'm just talking in circles now. Just to speed up the process, I'm going to be a little bit of a cheat. I'm going to use a ruler. There are a few lines to break up the individual bricks, but there's not a lot of that. And the other thing is like a textured hatching plus shadowing. So there's like a lot of it right here and underneath here, but there's not so much, but there is a little bit right over in the middle. There's a little less, but you can also create contrast with lines. You can do light versus dark, which is a lot of cross hatching and like hardly anything. Use different directions to cause contrast, which helps prevent buildings from blending into each other into one. So I see there is some areas that are not quite formed to the rest of it, like right here. And I'd like to say that it's to indicate some wear and tear on the bridge, but I could be wrong. Not exactly, but it does do the trick. So right here we have a round piece of wood. So we're gonna start curving around the log to give it the I'm trying to think of the word. I used it earlier and I can't remember the word now. And then there's just some cross hatching for making it nice and dark. And they decided to go along across, which is also creating the form is the word I was trying to use earlier. Here is a little bit of blending shadows, gradual shadows, and a little bit of cross hatching for form. And there is lots of layers, lots of pieces to bring it together. So in this picture here, I noticed that they have like a shadow line, which is going down. And then they have the water ripples that are going across, kind of more at an angle, but yeah. And lighter, less pressure on these ones because they want to, it looks like it's a very much darker lines, thicker lines in the front, and then it's very light lines in the background. The rippling shadow, or reflection, not shadow. Now, in the background of the original, it's quite light compared to the bridge, like the lines themselves. But that's a very tricky skill to master with a pen. It's a little bit easier with a pencil, but it is possible. This is not a very quick process. Like, you need patience to create cross-hatching artwork. The original versus the recreation. Okay, now I am back for another day. This is another stroke that indicates the form, that it's a rounded surface, so rounded strokes. And how you sign one of these is you write your name and you put study of and then the artist and then your signature. So here is the original, and that is my study. Let's see what it looks like in comparison to the Da Vinci Eye thing lineup. There we go. And strobe. Not too bad. So this is the original versus the sketch.